What level do you feel like you're at in public speaking?
Shoot, that's really hard to gauge.
Like, could you do like a presidential speech level?
Oh, easy.
Mr. President, what do you want to say to the country? Welcome to Koi's in a Pond, and I'm your host, Can. I got my friend here, Tyler. He is very tall, but we call him Little Tall. Little Tall. He's a gamer / musician / overall just a creative guy. And today we're just going to talk about some creative processes that he goes through and maybe some challenges, and maybe, we'll see what happens. There was a message for you, Tyler, and it's from Amy. She says,
oh no.
She says, be your most authentic self. Okay, that's the topic that we're going to start off with.
I go by Lil Tall artistically for anything I do music related, or I have a gamer tag named Attacking Toucans, because my main career for the past 12 years has been a gaming YouTuber and Twitch streamer, which I know lots of the kids aspire to be nowadays. And I have a lot of advice in that area, honestly. I feel like a lot of people would want to hear about that kind of stuff the most.
For sure. So would you say that during that whole process, you were your most authentic self, like during that process? Or did you have to find it?
I was as a version of my most authentic self, with also trying to be my most entertaining self. And for myself to be entertaining, I felt like it's like a hardcore reflection of all the things I found funny and entertaining at whatever time I was making that content.
Do you believe that there's like multiple facets of a person's self? Because I feel like that's like what people kind of blur the lines at. It's like, I am being myself, but I'm only being part of myself. So is that being your whole self, or is it always in parts like that, and you'll never be able to achieve your whole self?
I think there is a lot of versions of ourselves, but I think it's about timing. I think at different times you have to be different versions of yourself. Sometimes you have to be very small and humble and just and take the room and just realize that things aren't about you. And sometimes you have to be the most important person in that room and put all the focus on you. So I feel like both of those types of people require you to be very different versions of yourself, but they're both important.
Do you think it's only a requirement because of society, or is it something that we put in ourselves, like in our heads? We make up these rules in our head to go, oh, I'm at church, I should probably behave this way. Or do you think it was like kind of drilled into us by like maybe our surroundings, maybe other people? They're like, hey, you should be polite if you're in a meeting or something like that, But I know that there's probably some people that don't care, and they'll always be this one version all the time, no matter where they're at. Like kind of like a rock star. Like they're going to walk into like a meeting and just be like, yeah, whatever, kick my feet up, Like there's probably that.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's
and when you're saying that, I think of that like one analogy where if there's like a bunch of monkeys in a cage and one of them starts like trying to climb up a rope towards the escape, and you punish the rest of the monkeys for it, then like if that one monkey tries to escape again, like the rest of the monkeys like won't allow that monkey to escape anymore. Like so we have a lot of psychological things in society where
it's primal.
Where like the people above use us to control each other, like socially.
Like now putting that into perspective in the creative world, it's like, am I creating stuff because this is what the people want, or am I creating stuff is because this is what I want? Like, how do you feel about that in your process specifically?
I feel like a lot of the times the things that I want to create are things that other people want to see exist as well. Like the things that we want aren't that unique.
So it's like, it's kind of almost like a shared interest type of thing, right? You're trying to find something, or you are doing something where you almost know all the time that, oh, they're gonna like this and I like it too. Mm-hmm. Because I think that's kind of the balance, right, for any artist or any creative. Like, how do you make a living by making something that somebody will pay for, but you're also enjoying it too? I hear that question asked like so many times, and everybody always has like a different answer, and it's usually it's probably revolved around some sort of balance, right? But for you, it's like how crazy should I make my content? Like, do you keep it pretty like chill when you make your video game content?
It's really a mixture. There's a lot of contrast. I've honestly been known to be one of the craziest online personalities to a lot of people.
What do they think is crazy about it?
But I'm also, I think, one of the most chill and mature personalities in other aspects as well. Like, I really have, like, huge contrast between what I'm capable of personality-wise.
Was it, like, more crazy in your earlier years, and then it chilled out?
Oh, yeah. I was so unhinged, like,
Dang.
12, 13 years ago. I'm still unhinged now, but I'm unhinged with a lot more self-awareness now.
I see.
When there's a difference, when you're unhinged without as much self-awareness, it can be really funny in like certain ways.
Yeah, maybe it's like a part of just growing as a person too, because your content probably reflected how you were as a person in general, right? You think because the older people get, the more they tend to chill out. At least for dudes. I don't know about anyone else, but like we're always young and wild. And then we go past this phase, and then we go, okay, maybe I should calm down a little bit. And then that kind of
when you're in high school and college, you're around so many other people your age. So you're around chaotic energy all the time. So you kind of absorb and reflect that. But now that we're older, I feel like we spend a lot more time just focusing on our passions and just trying to grow in our skills and hang out around people that we're more similar to. So we're talking more about those similarities rather than just joking all the time. So that's one of the reasons I think I'm matured is I'm just like more focused, like on the things that like matter to me, and I have more time to just be chill.
So for all the young folks out there, what is some skill or maybe a few skills that you feel like is super important to you right now that you want to work on?
I think one of the most important skills to have in this world is public speaking.
Public speaking.
Yeah.
Go into that. Why public speaking? Give us like some pros and cons.
Because almost in any situation, for you to succeed in anything, you need to be able to like stand up for what you believe in, or be able to speak your mind, or even be able to just teach people how to do things or your processes.
That's interesting. Teaching, stand up for yourself, just basically being a leader, right?
Yeah.
So public speaking, I've heard that from multiple people as well in my career, because like one of my mentors would say, hey, you should learn public speaking, and I'm like, why? But then I understood it, because if you kind of look at the leaders of the world, the successful people in the world, everybody knows how to talk. Like they know how to speak in front of people. They know how to convey body language. They know how to say things in a certain way to make you feel something, because I think emotions is a pretty big part of that. But man, it's kind of like being able to command, I don't want to say manipulate, but to some degree inspire, influence, or whatever. Just get people to think a certain way that kind of aligns with what you want in your career or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So for example, the president. So where do you feel like, what level do you feel like you're at in public speaking?
Shoo, that's really hard to gauge.
Like, could you do like a presidential speech level?
Oh, easy. Like with
all right, what would you say?
The bar is like down here for presidential speeches at the moment.
You just got elected. Tyler, Mr. President, what do you want to say to the country?
I want all the people in the country to be their authentic selves.
Keep going.
Oh, yeah, we gotta. I don't know. I don't have to prepare that shit. I can't. I don't have a presidential speech ready. You can't just. That requires preparation. I can't just do it improv necessarily.
Yeah, because there's probably. I think with public speaking, it's like it's an art form almost, right? There's a science to it, but there's also an art form to it. Because I feel like there's some people that are just really good at improving, like freestyling it, and then there's people that are like, I need to prepare. I need to hit the lines exactly how I want to hit it. I guess
presidential speeches are on teleprompters, so that's not even like fully authentic public speaking a lot of the time.
Yeah, I guess they just want to make sure they nail the performance, because that's how I see it. It's a performance. Like with dancing, it's the same thing. You could be a freestyler, you could be a choreographer, you could do choreography, right?
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, what people respond to, it could be either or. It just depends on how good you are at it, right? So, yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of skills out there, but definitely public speaking is one of them. But what's another skill you want to work on, or you are working on?
This is like more of like a broad sense, but just the ability to learn. I think that's one of the best skills people can have.
The ability to learn. Nice.
Just like being it, because things are changing so fast. Like even in like a world where I feel like I'm kind of up to date with things, I also realize I'm so freaking behind.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? So there's always like so much to learn about. And if you're not willing to keep learning, it's going to be hard to keep up for the next, how much longer we get to live? Like 70, 80 years.
True.
Without becoming literally bottom tier.
Yeah. So I think there's probably ways to measure that. It's kind of difficult to measure.
Or just willingness to learn.
Yeah,
that's a better way to say it.
Yeah, because that's a little more binary. It's like yes or no, right?
Yeah.
But then if it's more like how good am I at learning? That's kind of hard to gauge because there's only so much information you can absorb, right? So how do you keep track of that? I think reading books is really helpful for learning because then you could see how much you want to learn by just picking up a book and going like, all right, this is too much information or it's not enough information, right? Same thing with like on the internet, there's so much information there. And then what else? There's like
I think YouTube videos are almost the best way to learn.
Honestly, yeah, because if you think about your entire life going to school, like your first half of your life going to school, and then how fun and how easy was it to learn in school versus how fun and easy was it to learn just by watching a video?
Well, I felt like when we grew up, we had so many great video things. We had National Geographic, we had Bill Nye, Magic School Bus, like...
Oh, yeah, edutainment is
what
it's called.
Edutainment. We had such good stuff like that just give us really good general pictures. But I feel like with my learning experience in college and taking like more advanced math courses and stuff, watching YouTube and using YouTubers like Khan Academy were way more effective than almost any math professor I ever had.
Dang.
Just because I felt like Khan Academy was one of those types of personalities where he's like, I know I can articulate how to do this better than any any actual teacher, just because of my ability to structure it as a YouTuber and trim the fat and not have any distractions.
Interesting. It's the format. They nailed the format so that you could have more fun learning. And then I heard that if you're having fun while you're learning, you retain the information better, right? All right. So what do you remember from those videos? Like, what's the one thing that you remember, like lesson-wise or like knowledge-wise?
I mean, through him, I got A's in college algebra, trigonometry, and then Calc 1 and 2.
Dang, that's crazy.
When I felt like my professors were, at the time, really old and very almost inept, like kind of hard. My college algebra and trig were fine, but my calculus teachers should not have been working there, but they were still there because of tenure, whatever it's called, where they can't fire you.
Oh,
but they were they were not.
Right?
I do not personally think they should have had that job though. Like they were not at that age qualified to be doing. They're getting paid so much money for what they're doing when the YouTube videos are doing literally 100 times better.
Yeah, it's not as effective, right, as the YouTube videos. That's crazy. Yeah, I wonder how education is nowadays, but I definitely feel like education is more fun on your own because it's almost like you're discovering things to learn versus someone telling you what to learn.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I'm a better learner. I'm a better student when I'm finding the niches that I want to learn about and I'm exploring the topics. Like, for example, let's talk about game development. That's one thing. Like, I never learned that in school, right? But once
Do you know how to develop games?
I know the gist of it, and I understand the parts.
Gist.
Yeah, I understand that you need to have some sort of coding knowledge. You don't need to. You can just use like Unity or like whatever, right? There's like these drag and drop things now to make games. So I understand the concept of how it's made. I understand game design. Like there's got to be a set of rules. There's got to be a goal. There's got to be whatever, right? And then I understand obviously the art, media, music, all sound effects. I know how to do all that stuff. So I dove into this watching a bunch of YouTube videos, and I was like, so like, wow, this is so fun and this is so cool. But then I kind of just stopped because like I was like, damn, this is a lot of work and it's a lot of time too. But I was really inspired by like indie game
and there's
developers.
so much competition in games.
Yeah.
There's so many game. That's like one thing is, as a gaming YouTuber, at this point on a daily basis, I get free Steam keys to like indie games in my email every single day. Sometimes like 3 or 4 a day, and I don't respond or download or use any of them. I literally don't even have time to
give them to me,
play
man.
them. Like,
no, that's
but
true.
like that, like I'm saying this not like to brag, but to say like there's so many like new polished indie games coming out every single day that are like full products. I'm like, getting into game design is like one of those, you have to have a perfect idea if you want to have like success in that space at this point.
You want to know what I think will make all those stand out is one, the look and feel and the marketing, because man, some really bad games are out there and they're popular just because of the marketing.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, I don't even want to name any of them, but like honestly, games has been kind of like the my childhood, right? And so I've always wanted to know how it was made.
It's also like the biggest industry in the world at this point, entertainment.
Is it? I thought movies was.
No, I think video games are now like twice as big financially as movies.
Wow.
Like video games are crushing everything else entertainment wise.
Oh, you know what? That actually does make sense though, because a lot of free to play games, they have a lot of what is it called? Like cosmetics and like stuff you could just constantly keep buying DLCs and all that. So it makes sense that they're generating
games. I mean,
more.
even the like true Nintendo is the most, I think, the most profited company in Japan. I think they're literally the biggest.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. More than like Sony, more than like all
I
that?
think so. I think they're actually like at top supreme at this point. Maybe can we fact check this? I'm not sure if Tech will fact check
by the
for
way, if you're
us.
listening to this in the future, we're at 2024 right now, and I do think Nintendo is pretty up there right now too.
Nintendo has like 10 times the potential that they've currently unleashed at the moment. I feel like Nintendo is like an atomic bomb of potential that they still have not fully exploded yet.
Dang, that's crazy.
I think that's mainly because we're still in literally first generation. Like the guy who pretty much started it all is still
here.
like the main guy in charge.
Yeah.
So they're still very like, I guess very humble with how they expand or whatnot.
They're taking their time. I think that's what it is, because
Yeah.
I can kind of see why, because nothing lasts forever, right? If you let out all your products super duper fast, now what are you going to release when it's all gone? Like once you're out of ideas, now what? So they probably understood that, hey, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't drop everything real quick. Let's just take our time, make our way up. And then while they're taking their time, they're also spending time developing new ideas, new products, new things, and whatever. And that's their cycle, because that's kind of how it is with tech as well. Like there already exists, what do you call it? High-speed internet, like 20 gigabyte. Like all of this crazy technology already exists, but we just don't have them as consumers. Like for example, like Verizon or something probably has like super high-speed internet that's faster than 1 gigabyte. You know, they probably have like 50 gigabytes.
The internet's fast enough.
Yeah.
I don't even care about faster
yeah.
internet at this point.
Or what else? Like better graphics cards for computers, like just better stuff in general.
Tech-wise, one of the things that I've like been most amazed at in the past like month is Unreal Engine, and how quickly that program is advancing in the ability to create 3D rendered spaces. One of the coolest things that they've been able to do is previously to have any like NPC in a video game have a mouth that matches the actual talking required you to put on like these face masks with a bunch of points where they could like measure like a bunch of instruments to be able to capture that, and it still wasn't perfect, so they'd have to go in and like hand animate certain things to make it look realistic. And it was just like trying to make NPCs actually have realistic talking animations has been a process. Took a lot of money, a lot of resources. Only big budget games could do it. But now with the most recent Unreal Engine update, with the new AI feature they have, literally all you have to do is upload the dialogue and
it'll just do it for you.
Yep. And now it's all just
gosh.
automated. And like a month ago, they were like, oh, this is never going to be usable because these NPCs they were like 1 gigabyte in size each. So like if you had 10 NPCs that would added 10 gigabytes to your game, like it was unrealistic.
Oh, because too much data, too much.
But in just 1 month, they were able to optimize it, and now it's 50 megabytes per NPC. So like the exponential speed they're coming up with these new processes and then making it optimized to be usable in the finished released products.
Like,
and they also just did it with the lighting feature.
Wow.
Like they've optimized lighting like times 1,000 in the past, just like 4 months.
Oh, really? 4
Yeah,
months?
it's like
Dang.
the advancements are pretty much, I think like what this is indicating is the stuff that we see in Ready Player One, where we're able to immerse ourselves into like super realistic environments, is coming very quickly.
Dang. Do you feel like it's also because they're making the software and the programming so efficient, it's also going to be like, why do we even need crazy hardware anymore if it takes less computing power, right?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how they're making it efficient so fast.
I think it's the coding.
The way they're making everything so efficient so fast, I have to say it's probably also AI.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The ability for AI to like rewrite code in seconds, things that take a human team literally weeks, like AI can do in seconds. It can, or like if there's like one bug, if there's like 1,000 pages of code, AI can go through it and find that bug in 1 second when it takes a human days to read through thousands of pages of code.
Dang, man, if only I could get the AI to do my dishes and wash my clothes and do my laundry. If only.
Wait, isn't this podcast going to potentially use AI?
Maybe, I don't know. Okay, I wish there was a better AI system for editing, because that would have been cool, because like right now, transparently, there is Autopod, right? People have shown me tons of videos of Autopod doing its thing, but it's not AI. It doesn't learn anything. It just looks at waveforms and it goes, waveform here, camera here.
It's such a broad word now. We use it for everything.
Yeah, it's not AI. It's just a coding.
Just a tool.
Yeah, it's a tool that cuts to whatever is being spoken. Like right now, if I'm starting to talk and then you say something, is going to cut to you, and you're not saying anything, so it's not going to cut to you. It's only going to stay on me right now. But then basically,
did you want me to interrupt? Fuck.
yeah, like that. So that's the tool, right? But it doesn't know whose voice is whose, right? Because what if we're both talking at the same time, and as an editor, I would pick whoever is more interesting or whatever, but how would the computer know that, right? It won't. Like, how do you code that? And, oh, this is what's more interesting. Like, it's so subjective. So that's why I feel like in terms of certain creative processes where it requires a human thought or it requires, like, subjectivity.
I feel like it can only do a first draft.
Yeah.
Like,
first
it's not
draft,
like,
for sure.
You don't want to just let the tool do its thing and then export that. Like,
would be crazy, though. That would be crazy. If it could go from start to finish with a project like that. Then I would still play the role of a supervisor and just be like, let me just check all this work that it did and then see if it's good. But then right now we're like nowhere near, or actually I don't think we're anywhere near like having AI take over video editing.
Does Joe Rogan podcast, does Jamie like switch between things like on a live board, or do they edit everything after the fact? Because those are like 4-hour long podcasts.
It depends.
Like, there's no way. I don't think they edit all that in post and then export it, right?
Well, because if they how often do they upload? Is it like once a week?
I think they do like 5 episodes a week.
5 a week? Oh, and
they're all like 3 to 4 hours long. So I wonder what they do. And they have multicam as well, right?
Yeah, I think if they're constantly putting out material, they're probably doing it live, so that way it saves time. Yeah. That's how I would do it if I was constantly doing these podcasts. I would just have someone right there just go boom, 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 boom. Yeah. But honestly, the Autopod is pretty fast. It takes like 5 minutes to cut this entire hour, you know? So that could be done too. I mean, it really depends. But with live editing, you can still make a mistake. That's the problem.
See, editing an hour-long podcast also isn't that bad if you're not. It depends on how quickly you're trying to upload them. Like if you're trying to do like 5 episodes a week, then that type of tool is like maybe almost imperative unless you're hiring editors.
Yeah, Blackmagic has this live editor thing where even if you're doing live edits, like let's say you make a mistake, at the end of it, you can import that project and go back and fix those live edits. Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Like it doesn't bake it into the video, basically. Like
that is nice.
It creates its own timeline and all that, but it's expensive. I don't know how much it is right off the bat, but I feel like it's not enough, or it's too much for me to go like
$20 a month, because everything's a subscription nowadays.
Yeah. Autopod's is subscription too. Adobe's a subscription. Those are all the
Did
things
you see that
use.
the House just like passed some legislation to make it so companies have to make it way easier to end subscriptions?
Oh, really?
They're making it so like all subscriptions have to be super easy to navigate. One click to unsubscribe. Like no more of this like trying to lock people into subscriptions and making it like a hassle to try to get out, that you end up being like...
Yeah, I did notice that actually with several subscriptions where I'm like, I don't need this anymore. Let me try to subscribe. Unsubscribe. And I'm like, where is it at? And then you have to go through like a couple of pages, and then they go, are you sure? And then you have to click all these things, and then they have to send you a confirmation email to then do it. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like with Apple on the iPhone, you could just end it right there on your subscriptions. So that makes it easy. So
I think they're also trying to, like, I think they also made it so they can't make you pay penalty fees to get out of subscriptions.
Oh, that's messed up.
Because sometimes there's like, I think there is subscription models where you have to lock in for like 24 months or something. And if you want to end early, you have to pay like another like $200 on top of it to like get yourself out of it.
It's kind of like a lease, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like,
but for software, it's so much more scummy feeling than like an actual physical object that has like an actual upkeep to it, intangible cost.
I think the only reason it should have like a cancellation fee or whatever, is if what you're buying affects the economy. Because for example, renting an office, right? Mm-hmm. If you stop paying rent, it affects a lot of things. Because then it's what is it called? I mean, it's just a bigger scale, right? You're affecting like everyone else around you, because the landlord now has to like figure this out. And if he goes in debt, and then this place is in jeopardy, so it's kind of like that's bigger. What is it called? There's bigger stakes, right? But if it's just like $20, it's like, come on, like just let them have it, you know, or get out of there and not.
Yeah, it is like it is hard to say, because like you said, that is a very tangible reason to like have cancellation fees and stuff, because those actually are required for certain things. So why can they not also apply to software gym memberships or something like that?
Yeah, know, the last time I had
there might just be, I think that they might still be allowed. They're just like getting rid of a certain type that are extra like predatory. Mm-hmm. I think.
Speaking of predatory, if you're out there trying to start a business and you are looking for certain payroll companies, you got to be very careful of cancellation fees, because some payroll companies will be like, hey, you know, we'll charge you this much. And then, oh, by the way, you're going to need to buy this option or whatever. So you buy the options. You got to definitely read the fine print, because I recently did this like 401k thing. And I was like, you know what? We actually don't even need it, because we're going to get a better plan. And so they charge you a cancellation fee of like thousands of dollars. And I'm like, that's insane. And they do tell you in the beginning, or they might not even tell you, and you have to read the fine print. But like, I was just in shock. I'm like, to do nothing, we have to pay thousands of dollars to just stop doing this.
Maybe that's
crazy.
Their business model.
It is. That's why I think
that's why I say like all these subscription things are like super scummy, is like, or predatory is like.
So small business owners definitely always read the fine print. Don't make $1,000 mistakes for no reason, just for not reading.
Fraud is a legitimate business nowadays. It always has been, but nowadays it's like the most legitimate business basically ever been.
They profit off of your negligence and off of your failures.
Yeah.
So you got to be real diligent about that. So that's something that I've experienced a couple of times, and it made me feel pretty stupid too. I'm like, damn, all I had to do was read it. You know what I mean? And so, but then you learn the hard way, right?
But not everyone's always reading all the terms and conditions, especially
Exactly, yeah.
Lots of things that feel like they're supposed to be official business feel like they should be trusted, like trustworthy or whatever.
And what sucks is they probably have lawyers to like back them up. Oh, technically we said it, so you shouldn't have, whatever. And I'm like, that's the most annoying thing for sure. So always have a lawyer, read the fine print, and protect yourselves out there. Whoever is starting a side hustle, Speaking of side hustles,
I've realized in California they love coming after small businesses for not doing things like the official way that the elites put in place. You know, like we own the government, we put all these rules in place, and if you don't follow our rules, then you're gonna pay fines and penalties and everything. When you didn't ask for these rules to be put in place, but they're here.
These are kind of like the hurdles and challenges that you have to go through if you're a creative that's starting a business. Because then if you're just a creative and you're not making money and you're just doing it, you don't have nothing to worry about. But as soon as you start trying to make a living, all of a sudden, oh, now I got to do these taxes and I got to do all of this stuff. And then
it's because lots of people in this world make a living off of leeching off people who are making a living.
Yeah.
And if they're not leveraging themselves to make a living off of people who are making an honest living, then they're gonna die.
Yeah. So stuff like that really
so dumb. I hate it.
Yeah, it really disrupts the creative process for sure.
Yeah,
but that's why, like, going back to creativity for you, has there ever been a time where you're like, oh man, it's getting really hard to make these videos. It's getting really hard to make these songs, like, because you make music too. Mm-hmm. But what are the challenges that you had to go through to where you were like, oh, I almost quit? Or were you ever even there?
I have never wanted to quit because I'm always perpetually making
attaboy
50 projects that I'm passionate about at all times. And if at one time I'm not passionate about working on a specific project, that is work on another project. And if I don't have energy to work on projects, then that's the universe's way of telling me that I need to go recharge myself in other ways.
Interesting. So that right there, that creative flow, it just gets stopped out of nowhere, right? Or for some reason, it just gets halted or paused, and it forces you to kind of pivot into something else, right? At what point is it like...
It's like we have little, like, think of our lives like little Sims bars. Like, you only have so much energy to put into your creative endeavors at times. Like, you also have to go eat, you have to sleep, but there's also bigger things you have to do. You have to go out and connect with community and do all the things that give you that human experience as well, because art is kind of just a way to release our human experience back.
Yeah, that is kind of like a meter. There's a meter of like, here's my creative threshold meter, and the more I create, the more it goes down, right?
I see it a lot of time with people who like will start hitting a stride of YouTube success, and they'll like really start hitting that treadmill thinking like, oh, I can just do this forever. Like, now that I'm making money, I'm never going to burn out or whatever. But
that's
it's like,
such a big
But it's not
lie.
like that. You burn out so fast if you start neglecting all other elements of your life just to focus on your successful YouTube channel or some other thing in your life.
Yeah. For me, I balance creating with health. Health is number one. Number two is finances, because those are health, finances to supplement the health, right? And then creativity. Or sorry, I should say social life, socializing, whether just connecting with people, even animals, or going outside or whatever, touching grass, and
trees.
Yeah, if those three things are in balance, I can create as much as I want. I feel like that's how I feel with the burnout level, right? If my health is bad, or my money's bad, or I'm like a shut-in, or I'm not interacting with anyone, I feel like my creative level is not going to be that crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I have no inspiration, or I'll feel drained, or I'll feel whatever, right? So it's not just like a superpower where you'll have infinite creative juice. For some people it is, though. I have seen some people that no matter what stage of life they're in, they can still make music, or they can still make stuff. Isn't that crazy? Like, those
everyone's also dealt a different hand. Everyone has different support systems. Everybody
Yeah, because
that's why you can't really compare yourself to other people. Like,
right.
because like for me, I like, for example, don't have any family that lives anywhere near me, so like I have to rely on like different like sorts of things to get my like social feel.
The community aspect, the feeling of togetherness, right? Because I feel like that human connection is very important in life, whether you like it or not. Because let's say you don't care for other humans, but then you might live a different type of life where you're like disconnected to everything, you know. But maybe that's just like a preference too, because whether you're around people or not, I think it doesn't really matter as long as you yourself are comfortable in your own skin, right? I think that's kind of the important lesson with just making things in general. Like, you got to know how to operate where it doesn't matter if I'm getting the things that I want or not getting the things that I want. Sometimes the urge to create is stronger than like your hunger, for example. Like, has that ever happened to you where you're like, I'm not even hungry right now, I'm just gonna keep making this project because I'm so invested in it?
Yeah, but you can only do that for so many hours.
That's true.
Like, you can't do that for like too many days before.
Yeah. See, this is where I wish.
I also love eating. So like, I love eating just as much as I love creating. So it's not too hard for me to balance food and creating.
Yeah. The most crazy creative nights I've had were the nights where once I start making music or once I start playing guitar or just doing anything that's super creative, once I get in the zone, I no longer feel hunger. I disconnect from people. I'm just myself and my project. And then I don't think about anything else. Like, my brain is just focused on that. Like, that's to me is like in the zone of creativity. But
I love the creative zone.
Yeah, but it sucks that it only lasts for like several hours and then you're like, oh crap, I got to go back to reality. Like, that's the addicting part about it. Because
that's also the beautiful part.
It is.
Because it can't last forever.
Yeah, it is. That is definitely something that I miss, because I try to balance my life where I only do that sometimes, because it can quickly just go out of balance and I forget to eat and I forget whatever, you know? So
when I get into like too much of a creative mode, it can really throw my life out of balance sometimes. Like,
yo, that's how crazy it is. It's very
like
powerful.
When I did my subathon earlier this year, like that was great. I was getting so much done. I recorded hundreds of videos and like was fulfilling hundreds of like personal requests. But in that time, I was quickly just watching all of my like personal connections in real life like really slip away, just like because I'm not able to have the energy to water those like very much.
Yeah, like you're not responding or like whatever, right?
Not reaching out to people to hang out because I don't have the time or energy or whatever. And lots of times when you go into those zones, people don't necessarily realize what's happening, and they just think that, oh, he's ignoring me or something, not realizing that you're just in a creative hole, like a creative tunnel.
Yeah, dang.
Or a work tunnel. That's workaholic.
That's
like
actually
energy.
a really good theme. I feel like with creativity is you can only go so far before your life hits rock bottom, and then you can not do enough and not make anything and just not ever be in the zone, right?
Look at it right behind you, the little balance, the yin and yang. Everything has to be balanced.
Yin and the yang.
Everything needs balance in life.
So, man, that really ties into like my philosophy.
Life is just a bunch of scales, and you're having to keep all these scales balanced. If one scale gets too heavy, your whole life will tip. And there's just 100 of these scales that you're having to be like,
Yeah, speaking of balance, lately, I mean, my whole life, I've probably been doing this naturally, but finding the balance, like the hard part to finding the balance is knowing where the extremes are. You won't know where the middle is if you don't go too far left, too far right, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the goal in life is to find out where your line is in terms of like, oh, I am creating way too much, I'm burning out, you know, whatever. You find that extreme part and then you scale it back. I think that's a good advice for people that are starting out, like people that don't understand what the extreme zones are. That's something you should definitely be aware of. In terms of advice, like what advice would you give someone that's just a creative starting out that doesn't know where their balance is?
It's a kind of like vague question, but I say just try to stay self-aware, be present. I would say it's easy to stay present because usually the people around you will communicate with you. Like they kind of notice if you're like starting to go off balance, and they'll kind of say small things and just be aware of it and just take note.
Yeah. Don't close yourself off to the world, I feel like is a good piece of advice.
If you have like a cat or a dog, like they're one of the best things that can help you stay present and balanced. Like that's like one thing I've noticed when we have pets is like they'll remind you to like, hey, snap back into reality for a bit. Like, pet me. Like, realize
that's super important. Yeah. Speaking of reality, for somebody that doesn't know how to touch grass, you know, actually, I feel like all of us can relate to this. Like, there's definitely been times where we're all just in our caves. Like, let's say you don't have a pet.
I don't trust grass around LA. I feel like any grass is probably like a poop pad for dogs at this point.
Exactly. So
because there's not very much grass. So if there is grass, like that's where the dogs are pooping, bro. Like,
dude, sometimes nature sucks. You know how people say touch grass? I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I would like to go on a nature rant. Like sometimes nature does suck. Like going out does suck because like let's say you go out to the desert, it's too dusty. It's too cold. It's too hot or whatever. So I see why people don't want to go out and like do certain things. But let's say you absolutely had to because you've just never been out. Like what is the thought process, or what is like the thing that people should do to snap themselves back into reality? Like how will they ground themselves? That's the hard question, right?
It just depends on what they're lacking in life. Like what
yeah.
Like what are they doing that's taking them out of reality? Like what are they
maybe okay, let's
on?
say too much video games. Like,
okay.
What do you do?
Yeah, that's video game
like,
addiction is real.
Yeah, like you're a parent, you have a son or a daughter, somebody that's just so glued to their television or glued to their iPad or whatever. How do you get them to go outside, you know?
You need to present them. I feel like nowadays parents put too much expectation on kid, like just go outside and have fun. Like, okay, like you put too much pressure. Like it's not that easy nowadays. There's not a bunch of kids outside just running around to go frolic with. Like as a parent nowadays, you gotta help organize either some social event, like take your kid to a camp, take them to an extracurricular activity, take them, if they're younger, to a park where there's a bunch of kids going around. Like
those are
kind of, a lot of it's like really kind of up to parents, because almost everything that requires kids to get what they need nowadays is put behind like a little layer of capitalism that is kind of requiring a parent to open up.
Yeah, that's
unless you live out in the country
good.
And like live in the woods or live in a neighborhood full of a bunch of kids that are allowed to play outside. But if you want to go back to Missouri and like drive around during the summertime, it's not that way anymore. It's really like
times have changed.
Even since we were kids, like kids aren't outside. But I get it, because like when I was a kid, I wasn't necessarily even trying to play outside. My parents really just forced it upon us.
Maybe it was just boring to us. You know, sometimes going outside is kind of boring because you're just like, all right, there's nothing to do out here.
Fortunately, there was like, I was surrounded by woods, so we could go out and like make forts quite a bit and stuff.
Oh, like out of sticks and stuff?
Yeah. But then at the same time, it's like, sure, you might be wanting to, or like your parents are like, you have to play outside. So like one kid might be willing to, or have to play outside, but that doesn't mean they're going to convince all their friends to come outside if their parents aren't forcing them to go outside at the same time.
That's true. There's so many factors. I think what you said earlier about having events and having a controlled environment of like, hey, here's actually something that would be fun, way too fun, where you don't want to go back inside the house. That's something that I think should be like a good way to like get people outside, is like, because for me, the thing that makes me want to go out all the time is like fun events, for sure. Like live music, maybe some sort of conventions, maybe some sort of like dance parties, or just parties or something where I know
theme
the
parks,
vibes are going to be good.
Fun thing. Yeah,
theme parks,
swimming pools.
Yeah, so we gotta, I think for this generation, like you gotta focus on what's more fun than video games, what's more fun than being inside, and then you find that.
Yeah, you gotta make it better, or else.
Yeah.
How are you gonna convince someone to go out and
Yeah. No, I really enjoy like community events. I really enjoy going out with friends and all that. So those are the things that kind of keep me grounded, is going out and doing these things versus just sitting inside and like creating, which is like that's where the balance lies, right? You got to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then too much of going out, you might be super drained. We were talking about social battery the other day, where like too much going out could also be bad too. You know, you could get sick. You could catch a flu or something, you know, or being around too many people.
Yeah, I think you shouldn't go out too much, because you have to balance that as well.
Yeah, and it's expensive.
You can only like meet and remember and foster so many new social relationships anyways. So going out every single day and like potentially meeting new people every single day, like you're never gonna.
I think the people that say they remember names and faces all the time, I think they're lying, dude. There's no way they can remember every single person they met, right?
Yeah, I have to have usually some sort of substantial experience with a person before I'll remember their name and face.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So going out, it does have its pros and cons, but definitely one of them is like it's expensive depending on what you're doing, right? There's obviously free events and stuff you can do, but if you really want to have fun, you got to spend like a little bit of money. And if you want to,
I feel like it's important to be a part of like community events where you're on the hosting side, where you're on the side of putting together things and making money from creating things. That way, you then have money to go and spend on other people's events.
That's true. Yeah. You gotta see, the thing is, like, it sucks that we have to have money to do things, but at the same time, depending on how you spend it, you could be making someone else's living. Like, you could be giving this to someone that now they're making a living. So it kind of goes in a circle in a way, right? But that's just life right now, man. You just gotta go into the cycle versus not being a part of it, because then it kind of disrupts a type of flow, like monetary flow. Do you ever think about it like that? Like how money just keeps revolving around certain communities.
The economy literally requires people to spend money. Like,
yeah,
the economy is nothing if we're not spending money.
Yeah.
So when everybody like starts feeling tight on money and we start spending as much, that's when the economy slows down, and that's what causes a recession or a potential depression.
Oh yeah, man.
So we got to spend. If we're all just saving money all the time, then literally the economy dies. Then no one makes money either.
Yeah. So remember, guys.
So we got to keep our morale high as a country. Like if we get divided and they're like, yeah, America's failing, and then we're like done, and we all just give up, then like the economy does die. And then
moral of the story:
we gotta
find your
keep
balance.
spending.
Find your balance. Spend, but don't spend too much. Right?
Yeah.
Create, but don't create too much. Like go out, but don't go out too much. So there's always all these things you got to look out for. But most importantly, be aware of it. Like pay attention. You know, it's okay to doze off here and there and zone out, but just pay attention to what your actions are doing, how they're affecting other people or whatever, right? Or just live your life. Who cares, right? But the last thing I want to do before we go is, Tyler, for your creative process and your whole entire career as just making stuff and like being a super motivated, determined person, like what is something that you want to say and pass on to the next guest, not knowing who they are, just something important to you that you want to pass on?
Finish as many of the things that you start as possible.
Finish as many of the things you started as possible.
Yeah.
Be a closer.
Finish things.
Finish it.
Don't just leave everything open-ended. I know too many people who never finish and release things to the world, and it's kind of like the way I kind of view that, especially as an artist, is just like if you're in school and you're assigned to write an essay for English class every single month, and then you write 75% of your essay and then don't even turn it in. Like lots of people treat art that way. And I'm like, you're literally not even like...
Yeah, it's not done.
Yeah.
It's constantly incomplete, right?
And it's like, lots of people wouldn't do that in school. Like they'll finish everything as long as there's a teacher right there willing to give them a letter for it.
Yeah.
But when the people aren't, they're just like, they don't finish and put it out.
That's actually really interesting. Do you think because some people think that art, because it's subjective, they don't put rules on it? Because with school, there's a structure, there's rules, you have to turn it in, blah, blah, blah. Man, if only artists...
If you can apply that school structure to your art, that is where so much of the success lies, honestly.
Damn, that is a good piece of information. All right, thank you so much, Tyler. I'm happy. Are you happy?
I'm happy.
Are you guys happy? We're good? All right, thank you for listening, guys.
Thank you.